Welcome to the Whiskey Warehouse podcast. I'm Dylan,
And I'm Nick.
and today we're going to go over the most underwhelming popular bourbon in, I guess, in the world, because it's not great. I think overseas, most people would probably say that this is a delicious bourbon because it's probably the face that they associate with it. But in the United States, it definitely does not stack up to what it should be.
Yeah, good old Jim Bust a Nut Beam is the number one selling whiskey in the United States, or bourbon.
Yep, I'm pretty sure it's in the world too.
Might be.
Let's figure everything out. So, Jim Beam opened in 1795. So when I said it was 200 years at 1992 or 1995, that was right.
There you go, dude.
Which like I said, I saw that bottle in Fear Street. So, have you watched that yet?
I have not. Is that like a documentary or something?
No, Fear Street's R.L. Stine, but it's for adults.
Ah,
So it's
a
pretty
series?
cool. Yeah.
Like a book series?
Yes.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to pull up the bottle for you so you can see it. Where was it? This is not it. Oh, wait, yes, it is. Because it said on the label she was pouring, and I saw Jim Beam 200th anniversary, and I was like, what the hell is that?
Huh.
I was like, there's no way. But I guess, they've probably been open in a multiple under names like that we don't even know.
Yeah.
So,
They have a single barrel, which
they have a lot of whiskey, dude.
kind of eludes us because we've never had it. Unless you have.
I have not.
Well, so we'll be primarily drinking Jim Beam White Label, which is, the generic ass Jim Beam shit. It's, 80 proof, 40%, aged at least 4 years. Nothing really too special about it, but I haven't had it in a while, so we're kind of revisiting it.
When I actually emptied out the sack that you left in the mailbox today. Side note, I told Cassandra that our mailman probably thinks that I'm getting drugs from somebody because there's just constantly bags in my mailbox.
So I got like a lot of whiskey that Dylan doesn't have, and we like to sip on the same thing on the podcast. So I got some sample bottles, and I pour a little bit and kind of give them some stuff for like future episodes, and I just put it in like this sketchy ass brown paper bag.
Super crumpled. He probably thinks I got like my weed shipment in today or something.
No one puts weed in a brown paper bag.
Hey, you never know, dude.
Dude,
like the plastic bag inside of the brown paper bag.
Okay. Be inconspicuous.
Yeah.
But not really.
All right, let's talk about this lineup here, Nick.
Alrighty.
Trash. Haven't had it, but I assume that it's trash. Definite trash. Haven't had it, so can't assume that it's trash, but, oh, man.
When we went down to the Bourbon Trail, we did go to Jim Beam, and we tried a bunch of their shit, and all of them were just not good.
Well, what's weird is they don't list, like, Booker's or Baker's.
Do they have their own website?
I don't know. I would imagine that it would have to be in here, right? But I even went to Our Bourbon, so...
Because if it's just Jim Beam product, I mean, they have Old Tub on there.
Yeah, and that's really weird because, you would think that it would show. It's I'm guessing that it has to be their own websites then, because this is just...
It's got to be, man.
There's nothing here.
No, they've got recipes, their story, and then the multiple different kinds of Jim Beam. The regular, the black, the double oaked, flavored ones.
And there's not shit. What the fuck? And this one like slides over, but I don't see any way to like move it around. It's literally these two.
It's gotta be another website.
Let's see here.
Look up. I don't know. Well, let's tell the people the history of Jim Beam first.
Oh, jeez. I mean,
Just
like I said,
like a summary.
Jesus. I think it was like in the 1940s that they changed names um, to Jim Beam. Prior to that, I cannot remember what the name was, but it was a whole thing.
Were they one of the distilleries that were open during Prohibition?
I would imagine so.
I
I mean, I
know
don't.
that Buffalo Trace was. I know that Old Forester was, but they were known as Brown Foreman before that. And I think there was 3 or 4 more. I think there's 6 total for
I have no
medicinal
idea, man.
purposes.
Okay, so it was operating under the company or the name of Old Tub. It
Uh,
looks like.
okay.
I think that's what it was. We should have watched like the review of Old Tub because I think that's the one we. Yep, it was Old Tub to Jim Beam. So
Okay. So, okay.
in 1943. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, there's been, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 master distillers
I mean, if
that
you
have.
look on any Jim Beam bottle, it will list all of them.
Yeah, well, it's Jacob Beam, David Beam, David M. Beam, James B. Beam, which is the bourbon we know today.
Right.
T. Jeremiah Beam, Booker, Fred Booker, no. And all these guys are related. So Freddie, no. Fred, no. What the hell? Booker, no. And they're direct descendants of Jim Beam.
Right.
So kind of cool.
So, Booker, no. That's what Booker's named after, if you guys don't know.
And Baker's is I don't even know. It's one of the guys. Little Book is another one. I mean, there's
Little
a whole
Book is
bunch.
Fred now. Yeah.
But here's a whole line. So Jim Beam Original, which is the white label, Jim Beam Black Label, extra aged, which is not great. Jim Beam Devil's Cut, aged 6 years, had that.
I'd have to revisit it.
Jim Beam Bonded, which you and Trent did the review of that. I have not had it,
I was not
but I did
impressed with that.
see it's down at Cappy's, sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Now, here's one that I've had, the double oaked, and I
That's
was
not
not,
good.
no, I was not impressed with it. And we have yet to have the single barrel.
That's the only one. Well, haven't the black, but oh yeah, I did. I had the black, the double oaked, the bonded, and the devil's cut at the distillery, and was not a fan on like any of them.
Sorry.
What was that? You
Hold on.
okay?
I put Woodford Reserve in my um in my flask for I don't remember who's I think it was Jack's wedding.
I thought you brought something
Maybe.
better for Jack's wedding.
You know what? You're right.
The new riff. That's what you brought.
No, it wasn't the new riff. That was Trent's wedding. It
Oh,
was
you're right.
Wild
Yeah.
Turkey Rare Breed.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I think I went to another wedding and I put Woodford Reserve in it.
Okay.
And it tastes like plastic and like ugh.
Ugh, nasty. Is that why you made that noise?
It tasted like paint. Like what you know when you're like smelling Sarah's painting her nails?
Uh-huh.
Like nail polish. That's what it smelled and tasted like the whole way through. I thought maybe it was just my nose, but that was disgusting.
Damn, dude.
Because I was just going for a little palate cleanser. Oh, that was terrible. Ugh.
You
I
ready to
don't
jump
even
in?
understand it. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm about to pour it up.
Cool. We're jumping into Jim Beam. Jim Bustin' Up Beam White Label.
I am gonna pour the whole bottle in.
Yes, I am too. So the reason why I'm saying Bustin' Up Beam, because every one of their products, we get peanuts or nuts on them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to kind of try to confirm my theory because I have obviously Jim Beam here. I got Basil Haydens, Booker's, Knob Creek 15, and Old Tub. And I want to see if I can get nuts on every one of them.
All right, so real quick, let's hop back into. And I agree. I mean, I would drink the Bakers, but honestly, I don't want to go for 107 right now.
Right, that's a little hot.
It's gonna. I mean, that's a huge difference. Also, the Bakers is just it drinks like straight peppers.
It's fucking hot.
So yeah,
it's hotter than Booker's.
It's wild because if you drank Weller 107, it's so much different. Like
It is.
Weller goes down so easy, but like the freaking Baker's goes down like hot fire, which doesn't. It's not terrible. Like I don't mind it, but come on, you gotta kind of figure out a way to smooth out the taste a little bit more. Let's see here. Jim Beam Signature Craft Bourbon Whiskey, 12-year, 86 proof, which is, I mean, pretty low for 12-year. I'd like to try that though. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Quarter cask. Haven't had that.
That's stuff we've never heard of. I haven't heard of anyway.
I've seen the Jim Beam Distiller's Masterpiece, which I think comes in a really nice box.
Okay.
But you know, I've never had it. I think it was like $100 or something like that.
Damn.
It comes with like in like a box with 2 glasses, and it's a very nice box. Jim Beam Harvest Collection, haven't tried that. 6 bourbon aged 11 years or more. So probably stuff it might not be out, or if it is out, people probably are onto it. Jim Beam Rye, haven't had it. Interested for sure, because I mean, our rye experience has just been totally different than our bourbon one. I don't think we've had a rye that we're like, ugh, that's gross.
No, not really.
White whiskey, which never, ever, ever.
No, white whiskey is just fucking white dog, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Moonshine.
Yeah, it's gross. Red Stag is not bad. I think it's more of a mixer than anything.
Black cherry.
Yeah, it's more of like a cherry bounce style of flavor.
Gotcha.
It's good in its own way. So that's probably a Jim Beam product that apple, vanilla, or the vanilla I haven't had yet. Like any of those.
I haven't had any of the flavors. I don't like flavored whiskey that much.
Yeah, I mean, Nick, we could have covered Basil Haydens tonight.
Could have. Let's save that for another time.
Yeah, no. You're right. Small batch collection consists of several bourbons with the Beam name, appears on the label and marketing materials, but is less prominent. Booker's, age 6 years plus, comes in at 120 to 129.2. We have Granny's batch.
Yes.
Baker's, which we were just talking about, age 7 years, 107. That thing's hot fire. I would honestly say that Baker's that I have drinks just like the Booker's that you have.
I feel like it's harder than the Booker's, dude. Because I've had Baker's before in a bar in Bardstown, and it has fire in a glass.
Mm-hmm. Basil Haydens, age 6 to 8 years, 80 proof. Which Basil Haydens is creamy, and I think that's the only Jim Beam product that I've had other than Knob Creek that I do not get peanuts on.
I'm going to test your theory.
I get more like vanilla and like creamy caramel.
Do they?
Go ahead.
Does Jim Beam have more than one mash bill?
Ooh, I just took a sip of the white label, and it is toasted peanuts. Honey toasted peanuts.
Yes. Honey roasted peanuts.
Let's find that out, though, Nick.
Because if they were using the same mash bill for everything, which I doubt is the case, then what the fuck is the difference between Jim Beam and Basil Haydens? Besides, like, an age difference.
Yeah, I'm interested to know as well. So there's a low rye mash bill and a high rye. So
Oh
high rye
yeah,
is Basil Haydens.
oh yeah. They have they manage the old granddad line too.
They also do Old Overhort. I did not know that.
I didn't either. Old granddad
Uh,
14. That's good stuff.
Old Granddad Bonded is amazing. I think it's really good and it's great budget bourbon. I would not say that it's better than Evan Williams White Label, but I would say that it's close second. I think for
We still got to review that. I have a
yeah,
bottle of it.
what which is strange because like we've talked that up so much.
The white label, yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow, Jim Beam also does Old Crow, which I've never had.
Yeah, I got a bottle of that. That's an interesting story for another time.
Look at this, Nick.
What's
That
that?
is wrong. But this was done in 2010, so they might have been doing it.
Old Taylor?
Old Taylor, which is look at the label, Nick. That is a Buffalo Trace product now.
Oh, really?
But there's the old bottle of Baker's,
Yeah.
Knob Creek.
The
That
sub
is
old labels. Yeah.
that's the one that I was talking about that has the
Ooh,
nice box.
that is a pretty bottle.
You know what, Nick? I think we've seen the single barrel up at what's it called?
You can get it.
I know it's up at O'Brien's. You
Yeah,
can
you
get
can
it.
get it. It's not hard to
I've just
find. It's not something
never
we look
tried it.
for.
Oh, geez, this page is so old, but I'm glad that it's here because it shows everything that we were supposed to see. I don't know what this bottle is. Interesting
Rye?
looking one. Kind of looks
Rye?
familiar.
I
That's a
know.
rye whiskey. So
It's just
yeah,
called
rye
rye.
one.
Rye one. They got to
But
have
yeah,
more than
look at
one
that.
mash bill, dude, because the old granddads are high rise, and Jim Beam is not. They got to have at least two or three mash
Yeah, because
bills.
they said something about like Booker's mash bill being different than the standard Jim Beam when we were talking about Old Tub.
Okay.
You remember that, right?
Yeah, I do. There's got to be at least three. At least.
They're probably not going to show us. I don't think they're going to show us, Nick.
Well, my guess is that there's three because there's the high rye mash bill, there's the Booker's mash bill with the old tub, and then there's the Jim Beam line,
Mm-hmm.
which probably Knob Creek is probably um higher proof Jim Beam. Would you say?
I don't even think Knob Creek and Jim Beam are even close to being the same product.
Yeah, I
This
know.
because they don't have the nutty taste that you would associate with Jim Beam. They're
Well, I know.
more of like a
Bacon
dark,
spice, dark
yeah,
flavors. Yeah,
like a darker candy, not towards licorice, but like more of like a dark caramel,
or
and
maple.
yeah, exactly, and like
Yeah.
oaky flavors. Let's talk about this white label real quick. Um, when you smell it, Nick, what are you picking up here, bud?
I get peanuts, honey. I definitely get that corn. That's kind of prevalent too.
What's weird is I'm picking up and I said that I wasn't getting this or like this isn't a flavor for bourbons, but the scent I'm getting is like a black licorice.
Really,
Yep. And peanuts.
peanuts for sure. I can see the
You get
black licorice. Yeah, for sure.
like a slight honey. But nothing like too out there. Like so breaking bourbon, like we talk about this website every episode.
Yep.
But they say corn, light fruit, and alcohol. I don't really get corn or light fruit, but I can see definitely the alcohol.
I think we might be mistaking the corn for the peanuts. Those are kind of two similar
Yeah.
notes on the nose. So they're a little bit of both.
All right, let's talk about the flavor here, buddy. Trying not
Go.
to read this before we dive in.
I know. I'm looking away.
Peanuts. Like I said before,
Yep. That's
honey
the first
roasted
thing I
peanut,
get. Yep.
and that's really it. I don't get like a caramel, maybe a little oak, but nothing like overwhelming, or it's like very underwhelming for what you would want it to be, or what you would think like the world's best selling bourbon would be.
Maybe some vanilla, but yeah, you're right. There's not much there.
And they say typical bourbon flavors of caramel and vanilla, tiny amount of fruit and honey, very ho hum palate with weak flavor all around. I would
Oh,
agree with the weak flavor, but as far as like anything else, though, I don't get that.
I do not get any fruit on this.
Yeah, it's peanuts.
It's peanuts, honey, and a touch of vanilla. That's what I get anyway.
Hmm. Yeah, it's nothing like it. And the finish is like,
Non-existent.
yeah, it's like drinking water basically.
It is.
If you're a seasoned bourbon drinker, if you're somebody who's starting out and you're just trying to drink it straight, this is gonna burn. But
This is a good stepping stone.
yeah, it's like the one that this is a good way to like be like, okay, I'm working myself in. I'm easing myself in. I'd say this and like Jack Daniels.
Evan Williams.
I'm thinking of Gentleman Jack.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but Evan Williams would be a great one too.
Basil
Uh,
Haydens is a good one.
Anywhere between like 80 and
Just
like
stay
I
around
would
80
say
proof.
95 would be like the max that I would be looking at anything.
I wouldn't
If you're
even go that
starting.
high for a beginner. That's pretty high for a beginner. I say 90 is like the cap on that,
Yeah.
unless you can hold your liquor.
Well, I would say like, yeah, especially with Weller Special Reserve, like that's 90, right?
It is.
So that would be one that like if you were trying to make the jump, I think that would be one to do.
Transition into.
Or like even if you really wanted to do it, it would be like Weller Antique 107 would be another good one for the jump, or Evan Williams Bib. I think Evan Williams Bib doesn't burn as much as any other whiskey that's at that price point. It goes down very nicely while kind of giving you like the feel of maybe an 86.
Yeah, I was just drinking on that last night, and Sarah snuck by and stole a sip, and she's like, "Yeah, that's good." I mean,
God,
it does not drink 100. It's like
it's one of the
that.
best, dude.
It is that, and Weller 107 would be like a good intro into like barrel proofs, I think.
Hmm. And one of these days, we're gonna have to sit down and talk about dessert whiskeys. Like, what's a good one to drink before dinner, and what's a great one to drink after, when you're kind of having like some ice cream, which you touched on in our last episode about Sarah drinking the Buffalo Trace, I think.
Yeah, yeah. But I wouldn't really consider that a dessert whiskey because
It,
a dessert whiskey is something you just drink
oh yeah,
like
I
as a
think
dessert.
all rise that we've had, I think would be a great dessert whiskey.
You think so?
Um, oh yeah. Well, not like the higher proof stuff, but kind of like I feel like ryes drink more candy like than bourbons do.
So
Some bourbons are very candy-ish, but ryes seem to have more of like a sweet flavor.
they do. And port finishes would be a good option too.
Yeah. Well, I would think of like a port finished as a either pre-dinner um bourbon or pre-dinner whiskey, or eating with your dinner. But I think that the ryes have a nice spice to them while also offering like the candy sweetness. Like Ride On would be a great one to have after dinner. Um, the only one that I would say that really would be hard to place as far as that goes is the Ragged Branch Rye. I feel like
Yeah,
that one could
that's kind
be
of
a before dinner, during dinner, and after dinner sipper.
that could be like an after dinner mint sort of thing because it has
Oh
that
yeah.
spearmint, big spearmint note.
Yeah, I would say if we were talking about that, Alberta would have to be before dinner.
Really? You sure
Yeah,
about that?
I think so. Because I mean, it's not like overly sweet. If we're talking about desserts, right? It would either be before or it would have to be before dinner. Because if you did it during and you're eating the wrong thing, it's going to go down hot. Before dinner, I think it would be a nice like opener to if you're eating the right thing that would go with it.
I feel like it's like an after dinner. If you're like
Yeah.
really full and need something to like help you digest your food, something hot like that I think would go down pretty good.
I mean, even like, and we'll say this in bourbon-esque notes. This would be a great after dinner, like dessert style, because it's the candied peanuts and it's sweet, but it's not like oaky, like stuff that would kind of,
It's
I
not.
guess, put off. Like this is a good dessert bourbon.
I
This would be
agree.
a good one for that because it's very sweet. It would help like rinse off your palate and say you had something like with a little bit of peppercorn or something like that on it. This would kind of raise up the heat in it.
Right. All right. I'm pouring some Basil Haydens and see if I get any nuts on it.
Send it, dude. I don't think you do though. I feel like the last time I had it, it was very creamy. It was not nutty at all.
It's definitely creamy. I just haven't had it a little bit. We'll see. This one has a fake cork. This is a pretty bottle though. This is one of the first bottles I got when I was like really getting into bourbon.
The Basil Haydens.
Yeah.
It took me until around this time last year, I think, was my first pour of Basil Haydens. And I was not disappointed. I actually was kind of surprised by it. It just the fact that it was like very nice and creamy. And people always talk shit about Basil Haydens. Unless you get like the 10-year or the Caribbean Reserve.
And there's
Most
a
people would
dark
be
rye
like,
too.
yeah, most people would be like, fuck Basil Haydens. Like that, as far as like the standard one goes. I think it's pretty good.
I mean, I'm kind of that way too, but I mean, it's a decent bourbon. And the nose is completely different from Jim Beam, dude.
Yeah.
Complete
Well,
360.
and that's where we get into like that mash bill.
It's
I wonder
definitely
if
yeah, it's different.
Breaking Bourbon's definitely done a Basil Hayden review.
There's no nuts. I almost get like a dark fruit almost. Vanilla. It's a lot more describe it. Almost like citrus.
Hmm.
It's like a
It says peaches.
peaches?
Yeah.
Is that what theirs says?
Yeah. It
Oh,
says
it's right there.
it's on the nose too.
Oh, I haven't got to the palate yet. I'm not gonna look at that.
Oh, it says it's on the nose. Bright peaches and ripe mixed berries. So you haven't even tasted it. You were just sniffing it.
Right. Tasting it now.
Mm.
I do enjoy the nose more than the taste.
Mm.
Damn, the taste is like nothing. There's nothing there. It's so damn thin.
Yeah.
The only thing I really get is like vanilla, maybe a bit of caramel.
See that would I think would be like the creamy caramel
Mm-hmm.
that we were talking about earlier. Would come out of that.
Yeah, dude, the nose is completely different from the taste. If the taste was the nose, this might go into the 90s.
If I remember it, there was like a good hint of like brown sugar in that bourbon. But who really remembers everything that they've had?
Lord knows I don't.
Like I know the only reason that I really know that George T. Stag that I had was as good as it was is because I can remember I was not as far into drinking bourbon as I am now, and I remember thinking like at the proof point it was ridiculously smooth going down, and it didn't burn at all. I didn't have it chilled; it was straight, and it was so fucking good.
It was, dude. I tried it at the airport, and goddamn.
Honestly, like that Elite 18 that you have and that Knob Creek 15,
Yeah.
both of those, like, I think they have to be top 10 bourbons for me.
Really? I didn't think you liked the 18 that much.
I like the oaky bitterness of it. And it kind of
Okay.
reminded me, now that I'm thinking about it, of the Ragged Branch wine finish in the way that it had like that kind of bitterness to it. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're lower proof, but they were damn good.
The 18 almost had like a nutmeggy flavor to it.
I remember thinking like fermented cherry and oak. They're very good. But yeah, I mean, you want to get into it, man. You want to talk about like top 10 bourbons. They have to be in there. I think just because of the age and the flavor. Like that George T. Stag that I had will always be probably number one.
Yeah. Do you remember what year you had?
I have no idea, dude. It was. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know either,
I
man.
went to Texas in 2018.
That's where you had it?
No, I had it downtown before I left with Mike. I can't remember what year it was. I know it was high proof. It was delicious. That's all I can remember. I remember telling Mike that was like a hard to find bourbon, and
Oh yeah, dude.
I'd never seen it before, and he was like, "Let's get a shot."
How much did
So
it cost?
if it was $15 for the
That's
pour.
it?
Yeah,
It cost me like 25.
I mean that's still pretty good.
$100 bottle.
Well, and
Retail.
that's yeah, depending on the place you go. If somebody's like a bourbon person and they know that you're not going to find it anywhere else, and they're willing to share, they'll probably market at a reasonable rate. But a lot of these places now, like they just know bourbon's hot, and they're
It's a
like, okay,
bourbon
well
boom,
this is
dude.
yeah. So they'll charge like 25 to like $40 a pour
Yeah.
for, or it's even I've even seen where it's an ounce for $40 or more, and it's
The
like, dude, most places give you 2 ounces.
you know that 3-level bar and restaurant in Loveland? Forget what it's called. It has a rooftop.
I don't know. I've never seen one like that. So
Oh, well, they have like a really huge bourbon selection and their prices are like really bad.
are they?
Yeah, they got Pappies, they got all the Wellers, they got everything.
I mean, I
I
feel
think I,
like that's got to be when the state comes in and says like, you guys are fucking charging too much for this bullshit.
think a 1 ounce pour Pappy is like $100.
Jesus, dude, that's like way too much though. Because
Yep.
you have already replaced the bottle, unless they bought it secondary. And at that point, then the state should definitely be stepping in and saying, "Where the fuck did you get this bottle of Pappy from?"
Right?
You know, because like if it's $100 a pour, like why? Because I'm pretty sure like all the Pappies at retail are $100, or like I think the max that I saw was like 115.
Yeah, the max is
So
like 120, 130, something like that.
like, why is this bar charging so much for this shit? They have to be trying to make their money back from where they bought it, because there's no excuse to charge $100 a pour.
No, that's stupid, dude.
That's like me
So,
having this Ragged Branch in the state of Ohio and telling people, yeah, you can try it, but you got to pay me $60. Like, fuck off.
no,
What if
go
I
off.
don't like it? Then I got to fucking drink the rest of it? Like, yeah, it might be good to everybody else, but it might suck to me.
Right,
Now I'm
palates are
stuck
different.
spending $60 for this fucking pour.
Right, that's where yep. So, kind of curious. This we mentioned this in the last episode. The bar, bottle, or bust. What would you put Jim
Ah,
Beam at?
I think you just have to have it on your bar. It's a good mixer. Um, Definitely with, I would say, no, it's not even a good mixer because I've had it in Coke and
No, like
it ruins it. Well, what I'm
bar.
saying though is like the bar would be like you have it on hand or you drink it at the
Oh,
bar, right?
I was thinking like bars, like like you try at a bar. Bottles, if you gotta get a bottle,
No.
or bust. Like
Oh
no,
no.
just no pass. I'll pass on it.
You have it at the bar. That's it.
Yeah, I agree.
I
If
mean,
you haven't had it, I mean, if you have had it, just pass on it. It's not. nothing to go crazy about.
Is that what we're going to do every episode? We're going to talk bar, bottle, or bust.
Yeah, I
don't
that.
think we've had a bottle that we've bought. Well, your dad bought that one. That's a bust.
What's that?
The chocolate.
No. The Kings
chocolate
County
whiskey.
chocolate. Oh, that's the worst thing you've ever tasted.
Yeah, that's a bust. But I feel like everything else that we've had, like even, and I'm going to say this, you're going to be like, oh, that's a bust. But like, in its own right.
You saying ritual?
Old Dan Tucker would be.
I mean, it's not bad. It's just watered down.
Try it at a bar.
They won't have it at a bar.
No, exactly. But like, if they did, like, if they offered it at a bar, that'd be a good. Like,
dude,
try
it's
it at a bar.
$6. Just buy the fucking bottle.
Yeah.
Just go to Kroger.
It's honestly not even worth the bottle.
No.
Like the $6 is literally you're paying for the glass and the label on it. You're not even paying for what's inside of it.
I mean, if you want to get buzzed real quick, just chug that fucking bottle.
Oh, you could do it too.
Oh yeah.
If you hit one of those like tornado funnels on that thing, you could have that thing down quick, and I don't even think that it would make you like start gagging at all.
Nah. It'd be I think it'd be similar to like drinking a bottle of wine, maybe. And that doesn't do much.
No. Wine's not 40 proof.
No.
Wine's like 20. So it'd be drinking like, right? It's like 10%. You can get like 14.
The sweeter stuff is like 10%. If you get into darker stuff, it's like 15, 16%.
Yeah. But even then, like it wouldn't be the 40. Yeah.
Nah.
You'll
still be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. I could see like spending a night by the toilet drinking a bottle of that.
Just fucking chug it, then like an hour later, you're like,
look, you will be the most badass motherfucker at the party because the bottle says bourbon on it.
Right.
But you are gonna be just fucking wasted.
It won't hit you right away. You just like you drink the whole bottle of that in front of your friends. It's like, yeah, I'm a badass. Or I gotta go home. I'll see you guys. Then you start throwing up.
Jesus.
All right, so
I think at that point you look, dude. I typed in Old Dan Tucker bourbon. Do you see this?
Ours is the first review. Oh my god,
yeah,
that's
we're
hilarious.
the only review, Nick.
We need to revisit that. We got to revisit that.
See, I like this one. Like, if this was a bottle, it was like 80 proof, I would be down. But
well, this is like
it's this
early times. Early times
this.
has watered down shit, but they're like foolproof stuff's pretty good.
Nick, look at this bottle.
That doesn't look bad.
That looks like fucking what's it called?
Oh shit, Woodenville.
Yeah,
it does.
If they need to package it like that at the store, people buy it instead of this shit. You could literally chug this bottle, Nick. I'm pretty sure, and just walk out of the party. Like you would look like such a badass just because it says bourbon whiskey on it.
There you go.
Like there's videos of people fucking chugging
Jack Daniels and all that type of shit. Yeah, I've seen it.
Like, first of all, dude, I would fucking hurl 100%. As soon as I got to the bottom,
99% of people would.
It wouldn't even be to the bottom. It would be like a quarter of the way through. My body would be like too much.
I think the trick is, I think you freeze it. That way you don't taste any of it. No, but you'd hurl later.
I saw a video where a guy bought it at the store, walked out, put a straw in it, and just fucking went.
Ugh.
And I think it's got to be like the straw because you don't want to taste it, and you won't really taste it while you're chugging if you don't like have air that's constantly going in your mouth. It's like when you chug if you were to chug a warm Coors Light, if you drank it regular, it's going to suck. But if you chug it, by the time you get to the bottom of the can, you haven't even tasted it.
You only taste it once.
Yeah, you'll literally only be tasting it at the very end. Everything else will just be gone.
So I poured up some of the tub. Okay. I do get peanuts on the nose.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we already knew that. Old Tub is just, I mean, it's good. I think it's better than regular. That's a bottle. That's not a bar or bust. That's a bottle.
That is definitely a bottle.
Yeah.
At $20 for 100 proof watered down Booker's, it's a bottle.
Yeah. And it's good. Did
you know that Booker's used to be $60?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Booker's also used to just sit on the shelf. When's the last time you saw it sitting in frickin'
I mean, I
O'Brien?
always see it sitting.
Dude, every time I've gone into O'Brien's, I've been looking for it. I haven't seen it.
Really? Who's
Yeah.
buying this shit? It's like
I don't,
$80.
dude. I mean, in the bourbon groups that I'm in on Facebook, people are constantly posting, "Is this a good one? Just paid whatever for it." I saw a post where a guy said, "I paid $30 for a bottle of Booker." Someone said, "You stole that."
What?
Yeah, he had the receipt too, and it said Booker's Bourbon at $30.
Jesus Christ, he did steal it.
Technically, yeah, but technically not because he paid for it.
Well, I
He
mean,
just
like,
he got it because there was a pricing error.
oh, that's why.
Must be nice. I would love to find that. But that
That'd
comes
be
down to a
pretty cool.
morality thing, though. Full on morality thing. Like, are you okay with knowing that you're supposed to be paying more for that, and that somebody in the store messed up, or do you want to right the wrong and let them know and
Right.
end up paying for it?
What would you do?
I don't know, dude. I think I would just walk out. I wouldn't say anything. I don't, but
That's probably what I would do too. If it was some
because
random liquor store, oh yeah.
it's not. I mean, it's not going to like keep you up at night, but at the same time, like,
If it
what if
was
someone
like
loses their job over that, and you could have prevented that?
if it was like at O'Brien's, I'd probably tell them because I know the people that work down there. But if it was some random ass liquor store, I'd be like, yeah, fuck them, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, if it's Cappy's or O'Brien's, it's not happening. But maybe if it was like some like point store in fucking Kentucky and it was on 30 and they were selling a freaking something else at like 150 that's not even worth that, like, oh, I'm not going to feel bad at all. Because then
No,
at the end of the
no,
day, you know that they're still making their money.
exactly.
You're not the one who mislabeled it. As long as no one's getting fired, like, whatever, dude.
Yeah, who cares?
Oh, we're coming down to the last little bit of the podcast here, Nick.
We are. My last pour, I'm doing Knob Creek 15.
There you go. I see. My last pour was the Jim Beam because I got to go take care of the kiddos once we're done.
I
And
got
then I
you,
got to
dude.
light a fire after this because we got a whole bunch of shit sitting out in the yard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like I cleaned out the garage closet and stuff like that. It's been a whole thing.
Ah, I don't get peanuts on the Knob Creek 15.
No, I wouldn't expect you would. I mean, Knob Creek's totally different flavor,
It
and
is.
it's made at a different distillery. You remember?
It is. Yeah, that's weird.
Interesting stuff, man. Let's see what kind of swag they have. Ooh, ooh.
Ooh.
Those are hipster
Gimme.
outfits. That's
I've
lame.
never seen anyone wear Jim Beam merch.
No, not unless they got it at Kohl's.
Oh, right. Yeah, like the generic shit. Like whiskey generic shirts, but it says like Jim Beam, whatever.
What if they sent you like some stuff? By the way, speaking of sending, we haven't gotten anything from that fucking dude
Really?
that said that
He didn't
hey, send
reply?
me. No, he said send me your address and I'll see what happens. Like I haven't gotten anything unless he sent it via USPS, which means probably get it sometime in December.
No shit. Oh, I did order
Uh,
some of our merch, new merch.
yeah.
I'm excited.
Oh, you're waiting for it to come in. I thought it already came in.
Oh, no. I ordered it like a couple of days ago.
Did you try the Kirkland bourbon?
I did. Not too
And
bad.
not too bad.
I got like cherries, vanilla, caramel, kind of your generic bourbon. It kind of reminds me of like a port finish.
Interesting. We need to find. We need to get a bottle of 1792 small batch and compare.
Actually, you're right because they're very similar. Now that I think about it,
I mean, I got a lot of pepper on the 1792 small batch, and then my single barrel is just totally different.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is. You pay a little. Well, actually, I didn't pay anything extra for that. It was the same price as the freaking small batch.
that must be nice. I think the full proof was like 50, but I didn't pay
That's
for it. My
pretty
dad
good
picked
though.
it up.
Yeah. Oh, that's still pretty good.
It was so hot. Maybe it's just because it's the summer, but it's only 125, but it drinks so much hotter.
I mean, 125 is still pretty high up there,
I mean,
man.
not to us though. I mean, we're seasoned drinkers.
I mean, it's depends on the mash bill too, you know, because
I
if it's
guess.
like, I don't know, depending on what it is, like depends on how it drinks. Like, well, why is Booker's so much hotter than, or not Booker's, Baker's? Why is Baker's so much higher than Booker's?
I don't know, dude.
Even though Booker's is probably more, it has to be more.
Well, it's more proof for sure.
Yeah,
But
that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
If not equal, they almost drink equal. So it's kind of interesting.
it is. Some distilleries can make barrel proofs that don't taste barrel proof, like
Yeah.
Buffalo Trace, and sometimes the Elijah Craig barrel proofs taste pretty good too.
Yeah,
Aren't very hot.
Agreed. I'd be interested to put, like, if I was able to get like a 175 of Elijah Craig barrel proof and throw it in my barrel. Could you imagine?
Do they sell 175s of that?
No, but could you imagine?
That'd be amazing, dude.
It would be the shit.
Speaking of barrels, I emptied out the maple syrup from my barrel today.
Mhm.
Fucking mess. Fucking shit show. But anyway, it got it everywhere. It took forever to empty out. It's so slow, so thick. But it coated
How
my
did it
barrel.
taste?
Pretty nice. The maple syrup itself tastes like maple syrup.
Oh.
But but I decided to put Evan Williams bib in it because I wanted something higher
Jesus.
proof.
Yeah.
So I got 2 handles of it and probably poured 1 1/4 because if it's 2 liters.
Yep.
So now we're just gonna play the waiting game.
Can't wait, dude. I wouldn't leave it for too long. I would probably leave it there for like 2 weeks.
That's it? I was gonna leave for like a month at least.
Well, yeah, that too. I mean, we look at like other maple syrup finished products. They're in there for like 4 weeks. But 4
really?
weeks, 4 weeks in our barrel is like 2 months.
True.
So I guess it just depends. Like, I mean, fuck it. If you want to leave it there for a month, let's try it in a month.
That's probably what I'll do.
I mean, we still got to like review what I had in my barrel and talk
We got
about
a
it.
lot of reviews to do, buddy.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I still have the world's worst whiskey that we haven't hit yet.
What?
We did the cherry one. We still have not done the small batch.
Would you really call that the world's worst whiskey?
I would absolutely say that is the worst whiskey I've ever had.
Really?
Check out our YouTube page for more. When that hits, we will label it as the worst whiskey we've ever had because it is fucking gross. And I remember everybody, even my brother had it recently, and he was like, "That tastes like fucking mold." He's like, "That's the worst shit I've ever had." He said it tastes like I ate a freaking cornstalk covered in mold.
Damn.
And it is. It's that bad. I haven't touched it since the last time that we tried it with Mike.
Last time I tried it was
last summer.
We were reviewing, yeah. Last summer.
It was gross.
It must have not opened up very well.
We never even got to the review on that. We did the cherry one, if I remember, and then that was it.
I don't
even think we did the cherry.
No, we didn't.
We
tried it on a podcast when we did the podcast.
Yeah, it was fucking garbage. Oh God. I know that we have to review it, but I just don't want to. It's been sitting in my decanter. It has not opened up at all. Like none of it has evaporated. It literally just sits in there. Worst whiskey of all time. Check out our YouTube channel for that. Probably in like a year.
Or check it out now. We got a bunch of stuff up there. We just released the Ragged Branch Rye whiskey review. YouTube.com/whiskey warehouse.
If you want merch, you can find that in the link on our YouTube. You can also find access to anything else that we do. You want to send us an email with some questions, which I doubt that any of you will, but if you decide that you want to, you can send an email to whiskeywarehouseus@gmail.com. And we'll get right back to you. If not answering you on the show, we might answer you both ways, to be honest.
Yes. Not just questions, but if you have, like, I don't know, video ideas or whiskeys that you want us to talk about, let us know.
And if you want to call Nick with your questions, his phone number is 513
No.
798 3345.
Whose number is that? That's not my number.
I have no idea, dude.
Some guy's gonna get his number blown up.
What if I actually did say your number?
I'll just edit it out. Simple as that, dude.
You were worried for a second.
I was for a second, yeah. I mean, you showed my house on fucking stream, just lucky no one else is fucking watching this shit.
They don't care, Nick. What are they going to send you some anthrax in the mail?
I don't know, dude.
This isn't 2003, buddy.
There's still some crazy motherfuckers out there.
All right. That's been the show. We'll see you guys next week when we decide whatever we're going to review or talk about.
We'll figure it out. I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions, just, throw it at us. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll be here. Until next time, you guys have a wonderful week. Shout out to Sam.
Sam the man.
Bye, guys. See you later.
See you guys.
See you, Nick. Bye,
See you,
buddy.
buddy. We'll see you, bud.